Beats on NITV. We are reaching you from our Abuja studio in Nigeria. I am Christine Opara. In the news, National Assembly okays Sambo for Vice President. Jonathan changes NNPC GMD. Also reshuffles presidency. NDLEA arrests Edo politician over drug trafficking. This and more coming shortly. The Nigerian Senate and the House of Representatives today have endorsed the nomination of Namadi Sambo as the vice to President Jonathan. In the House of Representatives, members engaged in serious and rowdy deliberations after Leader of the House, Honorable Tunde Akogun, moved the motion. Members were seen forming coalitions either in support or against Sambo's endorsement. Our reporter Rachel Uwa has the rest of the story.
The proceedings at the House started at exactly 11 minutes past 11 today, the 18th of May 2010, with members of the House all excited and ready to perform a historic duty. When the Leader of the House, Honorable Tunde Akogun, moved the first motion of the day, which was to consider the nomination of Alhaji Sambo as Vice President, members were ready to vote. But when the member of the House Representative Dimeji Bankole suggested that members of the House vote individually, they objected.
There's no person to vote.
The Speaker then decided to throw open the floor for contributions, but members shouted no and broke out in song.
I'm going to give the floor for contribution. I'm going to give the floor for contribution. Point of order. No contribution. Point of order.
After all the drama, Alhaji Sambo's nomination was endorsed.
Those in favor, please say aye. Point of order. Those against, say nay. Point of order. The ayes have it.
Reports from the upper legislative chamber say the Senate also endorsed the nomination of Alhaji Namadi Sambo as the Vice President. Rachel Uwa for NITV.
Meanwhile, Sambo has promised to give President Goodluck Jonathan all the teamwork needed for him to thrive within an obtainable time. He explained that his recommendation was because of the collaboration he received from people of the state, which allowed him to rule in peace. He also added that it is indeed a plus for Kaduna State. Sambo also uttered his assurance in the capability of Mr. Patrick Yakowa, his deputy, to continue with all projects his government started. President Goodluck Jonathan yesterday appointed Mr. Austin Oniwon as the new Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC. Mr. Austin Oniwon will be taking over from Alhaji Shehu Ladan, who was also appointed 7 weeks ago but was relieved of his duties yesterday. The President has also appointed Chief Mike Ohiadowe as his Chief of Staff, Malam Hassan Tukur as Principal Secretary, and Imani Boro as Special Advisor on Media and Publicity. According to a statement made by Niboro, no rationale was given for the abrupt alteration. When Alhaji Shehu Ladan was appointed last month as DG of NNPC, he was expected to execute the administration's vision into a global brand and player, which to President Goodluck Jonathan was slow-paced. In a similar vein, the President has ordered the audit of the accounts of the corporation. 9 aspirants for the position of National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party will meet today in Abuja to decide how the next party leader will be chosen. The meeting became necessary following the resignation of the party's national chairman, Vincent Ogbulafo. He is facing charges of illegally giving contracts valued at 200 million naira to fabricated companies when he was the Minister of Special Duties during the Olusegun Obasanjo's regime. Meanwhile, candidates attracted in the position are already emerging. Polycarp Nwete, who is the Special Assistant to the President on Political Matters, yesterday announced his intention to contest for the position. He is a Third Republic Senator and former ambassador to Botswana. Others in the race includes former Senate President Ayim Pius Ayim, former External Affairs Ministers Ike Nwachukwu, former Ebonyi State Governor Sam Egu, and former Enugu State Governor Okwesilieze Nwodo. Mr. Nwodo is one of the founding members of the People's Democratic Party and is well thought out as a favorite among southeastern senators who will meet later today to mull over their nominees for the chairmanship job. President Goodluck Jonathan on Monday in Abuja called for good governance and accountability in the public sector. The president, represented by the Minister of Interior, Mr. Emmanuel Iheanacho, at the opening of the Regional Conference of Commonwealth Association for Public Administration and Management, CAPAM, said that without good authority, there would neither be answerability nor confidence in self-governing power. The president said global challenges could be effectively resolved through a regime of good governance across nations with enabling institutions in each country. Also at the event was the head of service of the Federation, Stephen Orosanya, who said that public service in the 21st century should attain significance in delivering the dividends of social equality to its citizens. Mr. Orosanya said that internationally low moral standards in the business of governance has led to degree of doubt of those saddled with responsibility of leading. And on war against drug trafficking, officials of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have arrested Mr. Emezuru Ayoto, a.k.a. Paul Osimele, at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport in Lagos. The 52-year-old pharmacist and also a 2011 aspirant in the Edo State House of Assembly was intercepted at the screening center with the aid of a scanning machine while attempting to export 2.120 kilograms of cocaine buried in his stomach. Emezuru, who was to board a Lufthansa flight to Frankfurt, is one of the high-profile suspects nabbed by anti-narcotic officials at the airport in recent times. During observation, Emezuru excreted 100 pieces of powdery substance that tested positive to cocaine, weighing 2.120 kilograms. The quantity also makes him the highest drug-ingesting suspect since January 2010. Preliminary checks also revealed that he was preparing himself financially for the forthcoming election into the Edo State House of Assembly. Meanwhile, in a similar event in Akure, the Ondo State capital, a pregnant woman was among the 6 people the Ondo State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency arrested during raids. The operatives stormed Ogbese town on Saturday and seized 6 tons of Indian hemp from the suspects. And that's our take on news feeds today. My name is Christine Opara. Thanks for watching.